Hello and welcome to Footy Judge Mo. Eric Ten Hag again falling out with some of the squad, the people in the squad. Manchester United are in disarray. They play Chelsea tomorrow, and if they lose, I think he gets the boot. And Postecoglou deserves more respect because he showed Pep how to play football on the ground at their home yard, proving everybody wrong, proving me wrong, but only in one half because he did exactly what I said in the first half, and it worked to a degree. But I'm here with Percy, I'm here with Jerry James, and we're here to talk about the football that we're going to see because Arsenal might go top with more points than what you think at this time of the year and prove everybody wrong that they can win this league. Of course, Percy doesn't believe that. Of course, Jerry, I'm not sure if he believes that or not, but we're here to talk about it. So, how's everybody doing? Hit the like button, people. Before you join the show, you walk in, you like the video, and then you listen and you enjoy, get involved in the chat, of course. How's everybody doing this morning?
Yeah, all good, all good. Afternoon for me, morning for you. You've just woken up.
Yes.
All things are good. Thanks for having me on.
JJ,
Yeah,
with
man.
chest
Happy
coming
to be
back,
on as
of
always.
course.
Happy to be on as always. Yeah, ready to chop up. We get some ball talk involved. I mean, chat some ball. It's good. It's good. It's good. It's actually becoming one of my favorite shows to be on, man. So I'm happy to get into it.
It's good.
Yeah, a little bit no banter, some talk, a little bit of banter, a little bit of arguments about Foden and stuff like that. And the thing
Who
about
is it going
this,
to be today?
the thing about
Exactly.
this show, though, the Tuesday and the Wednesdays, somehow what I discuss on this channel gets dragged to Pirchis and Sava's WhatsApp group. Like I get tagged on stuff. Like I'm like, what, why? It's all right. This is different. You know what I mean? But anyway,
It's all good.
it's all good. We'll start with Ten Hag, actually, if
Go
you
on.
guys don't mind.
Sure.
Well, Matic is coming out and saying that he saw stuff at Man United that he hasn't seen at Chelsea. Eric Ten Hag falling out with the rest of the squad. And it all comes down to player power or coach's power or who's going to be responsible for what. And I wanted to ask you guys, and whoever can chime in, when do we think is the cutoff point for the coach? The reason why I'm saying that, because you cannot sell all your players. And this is not 1950 when some teams fielded the youth team in the Premier League or the Champions League, because a lot of teams did that before just to discipline players. When is the cutoff point? When does the club say, you know what, you lost the dressing room, you're gone, we have to get an interim because you lost control?
I'll be honest. I think they must be looking at candidates now. I think as soon as they get someone they want in, he's gone. I think you're right. He's lost the dressing room. I'll be amazed if he's still in charge by the end of the season. Honestly, I think he'll be gone at some point because you're right. Listen, I've mentioned it on the show before, right? Haven't I? I've mentioned it on the show before. It's all well and good when you're winning games of football and you're disciplining people and you're exalting people from the dressing room or the thing. But when you're not winning games of football, those decisions get flagged massively, right? And they are, right? He did it. He's done it with the likes of Sancho. We've had this discussion on here before, but how far does it go, right? How far does it go?
I don't know, to be honest with you. Like I'm looking at this. If Rashford isn't running for you, if you fall out with Sancho, if you fall out with Varane, if you're playing an 18 years old, if Amrabat now is not happy, who you got and you wanted, if Mason Mount is injured, but when he's not injured, he's not starting for you. If Bruno Fernandes is calling out your players that you brought, if Bruno Fernandes is calling out Martial and you falling out with Martial as well, we saw all the clip when he's screaming at him and Martial is waving back. And if Onana isn't stable, he isn't playing well, someone was very, very good last year, I think this is it. It doesn't matter if you're winning against Luton because you know that this is just temporary. This is temporary joy and the pain is coming again. And I think it's sooner than later is better, to be honest. The sooner the better for this guy. Put him out of his misery, in my opinion. Not kill him, but put him out of his misery. Like
put him down like a dog.
Do you know what it is though? Like if I'm assuming we all watched the game against Newcastle this weekend. They were awful. Man United were awful. If Newcastle had their shooting boots on the day, it would have been game over with half an hour, 40 minutes to go. Man United look 6s and 7s. Like that Lewis Miley absolutely tore them in the middle. He was brilliant. So was, by the way, Bruno and Joe Linton. I thought the three of them dominated Man United. And I didn't think Man United, apart from the odd counter-attack here and there, they were awful. And as I said, if Newcastle had their shooting boots on the day and finished all of those chances, surely they win that. They would have won that game by 4 or 5-0.
But
Yeah.
this is the point with United, though. It's just like I get it. He needs to be put out of his misery. I agree. Like a dog, Mo. I know you said not kill him, but it needs to be just, do you know what I mean, taken round the back of Old Trafford. Do you know what I mean? Just to X'd out and we get someone else in. It's just gonna happen again, though, isn't it? This whole journey is gonna happen again and again. I just got a feeling now that United, they need to be so bad for them to get over this and to be in a position where, you know, a large amount of players leave over a couple of seasons, over a couple of windows. The expectation levels of the club drop dramatically, like they did with Liverpool when Liverpool weren't winning for a sustained amount of time, but were really, really bad, down in the dumps. You go and look, their lowest position was what, 13, 14 when they finished 7th? Now, for United, that's bad as an institution. For a club, they were there once and then what? Went to 5th, were 4th, 2nd. Like they're always there or thereabouts when you're talking about the top 6, right? So for me, I just got a feeling that in order for United to get over this, they've almost got to go down to the depths of, do you know what I mean, where Arsenal were for a sustained number of seasons, where you're finishing 8th, finishing 7th, finishing 8th, where it looks like you wipe the slates clean and start again, and the identity of Man United's got to change, because until that changes, the ownership's still the same. The players, as you said, Mo, you can't just get rid of 11 players in a season, in a window. A new manager's going to come in. They're going to do the same thing. It's going to look all rosy and great. It looked rosy under Mourinho when they finished 2nd. It did. It looked rosy when Van Gaal first came in and they were playing, do you know what I mean, Van Gaal style of football until it went sour. Solskjaer was at the wheel. That was screaming that, do you know what I mean, in the terraces. And now look at Ten Hag. We can win the league this season, we were told. And now the manager's gone. But at this point, it doesn't matter who you bring in. It really doesn't matter who you bring in. So, I mean, they should do it, but it's not a long-term solution for me.
You're spot. Do you know what? You're absolutely bang on in what you say there. Bang on. What Man United need is what Arsenal went through, in the sense of that sustained going, do you know what? We're going to stick with this manager and we'll buy for this manager and we'll stick to the Arteta philosophy. You could argue Spurs have started that transition now under Ange Postecoglou. Man United can't just go and get in any old manager now, because it happens again, right? They need to get rid of a lot of players. What they need to stop buying, and it sounds counterintuitive, but it's actually true. They need to stop buying superstars. They need to stop buying these big names like the Casemiros. I'm not saying they're world-class superstars, but my point is they're big names in football. The Varans, the Casemiros. It's all well and good getting those players in, but you can buy as many of those players. Doesn't mean they're going to work. Man United need to start again. And when I say start again, I mean this takes years of clearing out and start again and bring in an actual philosophy at the football club. For me, Ten Hag may be all going wrong for him, I agree. But from top to bottom, they are all over the place. They're a mess.
Yeah, but I kind of disagree with some points. Like, it can be fixed temporarily if you hire the right coach. And I'm just going to give you, I know that Spurs will always tell me that you change the director of football, you change the director of scouting, you did that. But I believe someone like Jurgen Klopp or someone like Pep Guardiola or someone even like I'm talking like Ange now can fix it temporarily. I know people don't say, oh, there is no fix. But I think that my problem with clubs is that winning sometimes force owners' hands. Sometimes you force owners' hands. And that's what you need for Man United. You need someone who is a winner. The problem is this guy speaks out of his ass somehow. Yeah. The guy doesn't know how to deal with players. You need a manager that is strong, that has a certain style of play, that the players will enjoy playing. And it's not only about being in control. you listen to the Spurs players, the ones that stayed on the bench for the beginning of the season, and you listen to them. They are a happy community. They are happy players. Jose Mourinho used to do that back in the days. Jose Mourinho at Inter and at Porto and at Chelsea, even if you're sitting on the bench, you feel part of the team. It feels like this manager doesn't have that way of dealing with a squad, making them all together and making everybody happy. That's what you need. And that's what you need temporary. I know long-term solution, Man United, we'll talk about the director of football. We'll talk about the way the club is run, the Old Trafford thing, the training facilities. But there are some other teams that don't have the same facilities, don't have the same money. But you get a manager that is a winner, that knows how to win, which he was last year. A lot of people were happy at Man United last year. But the problem is he completely lost it. He lost his identity first, Erik ten Hag. He lost the way he wants to play. He lost everybody's respect. And this is what made it all gone wrong for him.
But Mo, do you know what I would say to that, though? Is did he lose his way, or did he stop winning? Because
he lost his way. He lost his way.
When you compare to how it was at Ajax, he came in first and said, "I'm going to bring this style of play across." Obviously, recently he's spoken about we're not going to get that Ajax style of play. It started off like that. It wasn't necessarily great, but then something changed where they started to win, and of course they won the Carabao Cup, went on the run in the FA Cup, and so. But they were winning games. Now that's the problem with United. You can get a winner to go and win games. The problem is when they start to lose games, Man United isn't the same as Porto, respectively. Do you know what I mean? Or Chelsea, respectively. They're such a bigger institution. For them, the standards are completely different. They're completely different. And yes, Chelsea standards are high in terms of they sack managers very, very often. But when you're looking at United, they're so picky with everything. We've got to play this type of way. We have to win at the same time. If you don't have those two components, it doesn't matter what's going on. Because when Mourinho was there and they were winning and it came second, some fans were disgruntled, saying they didn't like the football, right? When they're playing decent football but are struggling to win because the team's pants, let's be honest, under Van Gaal, we're told that the style of play is boring because it's not provided. We're not winning anything. Van Gaal's not doing anything. At this point in time, I just don't see how a winner comes in and changes something when the actual fabric of the club is just toxic. I know people have said that before, but I don't know. Like, I don't know how you get over this. Like, you have to. I'm talking about the youth coaches, the damn dinner lady. They're all just infatuated with what was before, in my opinion. That they're just never going to move. That they just can't move on unless there's some groundbreaking. Do you know what I mean? Culture changing shock at the club. And I don't know what that is. I don't know if that's them finishing 8th back-to-back. I don't know if that's them, the standards of the fans, the standards of the clubs have to drop for them to go and say, look, we want to aim here, but we need to kind of look at ourselves and realize that we have fallen down the pecking order as a club. Because otherwise, it doesn't. We talk about managers enjoying football. Brendan Rodgers at Liverpool, the players enjoyed the football right until we started losing. Then fans wanted him gone. You have a winner. It's I don't know. It's a tricky. I don't know.
Do you know what, Jerry? You made a really, really good point, mate. You made a good point here, and I wanted to touch on it. It was saying also Mo said about, if Jurgen Klopp goes in at Man United, he'll make them better. Yeah, temporarily make them better, but long term he won't. Long term he won't, because what is good at what Jurgen Klopp does at Liverpool? It was all about collectively building for the future until they got to that level where they were winning the Champions League, where they were winning the Premier League, yet battling against the best team. Man United have to look at Liverpool, look over the road at Liverpool and go, we need to find our ethos, our philosophy, and build from there. Because there is no way you're going to buy yourself out of it, because Manchester City are a dynasty. Manchester City in this era of football right now are very good. And the only teams that seemingly at the moment, I'll hold that. Someone's on my door.
Right. It's all right.
Yeah,
brilliant. Just when you're straight, but I'll let you carry on with that 2 seconds.
But just to obviously touch on Percy's point, Mo, in the chat as well, is when we look at Liverpool, when Klopp came in, even when we went with Brendan Rodgers, we didn't expect anything. As in, I remember as a kid sitting down and any player that we signed, he's the best thing since sliced bread. When we signed Andy Carroll, I thought, what a great signing. What a signing. He's going to take us to new heights. This is what I was saying, like, as a child, as a 13-year-old, 14-year-old. This is what I was saying. I was like, Andy Carroll can give us something different. He's this, he's that. Now, as a fan that has experienced winning, I don't tolerate the same things I did back then. And my standards as what in terms of what I expect from Liverpool is completely different. So when I compare it, it's like, yeah, United need to go and get back to that level where it's just no matter who they sign, they're just hoping that something can happen, but they don't really believe it until it happens. Yeah. Spurs are in a good position. You can go and bring in an Ange Postecoglou, and you can go on as we've spoken about, a 3-4 game losing streak and still have a lot of the fans on side, the players on side, because there isn't that culture of we are the best.
Yeah, I want to move on from Man United, yes. And listen, I think this situation is going to end up at Liverpool at Anfield when he loses by a 3 or 4 or 5 goals margin, and then he's going to get sacked, in my opinion, at that time, because the Champions League campaign will be over. And I think at that time, I think he might get sacked, or he might turn things around, which is I don't see it. But listen, people, over 150 or 160 of you here, so hit that like button so we can get more people to watch. Let's get to 100 likes for this video, guys. Hit that like button for us, please. Subscribe if you're new to the channel, of course. And I want everybody in the chat to tell me one thing. Which club do you support? Just one word. Which club do you support in the chat? I want to see 100, 150 messages. Which club do you support? Just tell me. Instead of me doing a poll, I want to know the community. Who do we have here? Who do you support in the chat? And listen, I want to move on to the game. To Ange Postecoglou's respect, I kind of analyzed the game with Tom and Nobbins yesterday in depth, but I wanted to talk about a couple of things. I myself called out Ange Postecoglou and said he doesn't change tactics, but he did actually 2 days ago. He actually was a little bit able to sit 2 banks of 4, like Foden. When Foden scores, you were very deep. And then in the second half, and that's the brilliant of Ange Postecoglou, and that's what I'm saying, he was able to pin Manchester City back. Does that prove that there is a kryptonite for Man City? Is this guy, with players like Lo Celso, Ben Davies, Emerson, Højbjerg, with all due respect, Brennan Johnson, can play against Manchester City with this style of play, and you can win games, and you can actually score goals and not concede a lot? Because what he conceded the second half is a mistake from Bissouma.
Okay, look, I can break it down. It's probably good for me to start on this one. Look, let's break the whole game down first. I think first half, Manchester City should have been 4 or 5-1 up. They battered us in that first half. I mean, Haaland missed 2 sitters. I think Foden missed a sitter. And you just sat back. They hit the crossbar on the post a couple of times. And you go, we need to... And you go in a half-time 2-1 down. You go, hang on, we have a chance here. We're still in the game. I mean, it could have easily not been in the game. And we came out in that second half and we were outstanding. I think you've got to credit where credit's due. I thought we were brilliant second half. Lo Celso with a very good goal. Does take a deflection, but it's a very good goal. And you just thought there, and then the Bissouma mistake, and you kind of go, oh, you've just let Manchester City off. But fair play, Kulusevski going equalising in the death to get a point, because I thought we valiantly deserved a point in that game. We were so much better in the second half. Can you get Man City? Listen, you could argue your point. I'll argue your point for this second. Can you get at Man City? Yeah. But let's be honest with it. Manchester City should have been out of sight, and we got away with one in that first half. But when teams don't take their chances, do you know what it felt like very much for me? It was a carbon copy of the weekend before. Spurs didn't take their chances against Aston Villa, and Aston Villa punished us. Man City didn't take their chances, and we punished them. It came across very complacent from them. I thought they kind of felt, well, we've got these, we've done this, and we were, as I said, we were the much better team second half, and we probably could have nicked it if it wasn't maybe for a Bissouma mistake, right?
Yeah.
But you didn't have the same... I'm not sure about you. A lot of Spurs fans didn't have the same energy when Arsenal played Spurs. Arsenal didn't take their chances, and at the end, you drew the game. But people
it's the
told me,
same.
but it's on. But listen, this has been a recurrent situation when Man City don't take their chances. Haaland has been missing chances this season.
Yeah.
He has been missing chances. So yes, they should have been, they should have done, they could have been, but at the end, it's part of their game. For me now, when I look at teams now, if someone like Haaland misses a chance now, it is nothing new to me. I've seen this a lot this season. Until Haaland scores, he used to miss lots of chances this season in a lot of games. That's a recurrent situation. So it's not your fault, and it's no one's fault. It's just them. Doku started the game well, and then he faded away completely in the game. When Jack Grealish came on the pitch, he lost the ball like 3-4 times. Yes, he scored. He lost the ball 3-4 times. Foden only scored when he came centrally. So Pep Guardiola technically got it wrong again. He played Alvarez, who was absolutely, he had the assist, but he wasn't great at all in the game. Rodri was isolated again. So he is trying to figure out what to do without John Stones and KDB. He is trying to find out what to do. What do I do here?
Exactly. And just on that as well, I think there's this onus on like, oh, City, you know, they could have put us to bed and it could have been curtains. Every game City playing, 99% of the time, they've got so many chances where they're like, in that 20-minute spell, they could have put you away and it would have been curtains. They've done that against Liverpool, where Liverpool didn't have the ball and they could have done better. They've done it against Arsenal in a game that they lost, where Arsenal beat them. Like, this happens in the big games. They are so good that they are going to have like times in games where, okay, you're going to be under pressure. You're going to suffer in these games. And you've got to try and overcome it. And sometimes, yeah, you do need a bit of luck, but that's about football. What you've got to give Spurs and Ange credit for is the fact that you were very clinical in the way that you attacked. Very clinical. As in, you targeted the right areas. When there was space down the right-hand side, when Doku was left, Son made the run down the right. When there was space down the left-hand side for Lo Celso's goal, you made that run down the left. You weren't running into dead ends. No one was dribbling for the sake of it. It was very, very tactical and played out. And look, one of the goals you conceded was obviously Bissouma mucking about with it in the middle of the park. That's just human error. That's just human error. Of course, Ange wants him to go and get the ball, but that was human error. Now, I could flip that as well and be like, oh, Bissouma just played one touch or played two touch in that situation. You might not concede in that respect. So I think you've got to give credit to Ange. I think, look, he was brave to go and play the way he wanted to go and play. And I think, as I said before, and I said last week, in the long run, him getting a result playing his way and not faltering and not bending to the demands of some fans, of opposing fans saying they need to drop the line deeper, they need to be more, do you know what I mean, sit back because they haven't got X, Y, and Z, and they've only got Emerson, they've got Royale playing at centre back, and Davies isn't good. He's got the result now, and this is going to put him in.
So can I ask something? Can I ask a question, and then we can continue this conversation? Just a simple question: is this a testament in how good Spurs are, or how weak Man City and how close Man City to the rest of the league now? With this current situation, I'm not talking about Man City of the end of the season.
What it does say, and one thing people think I don't give Spurs credit. I give Spurs a lot of credit. Actually, what it does say is this team is very resilient. This team will go out there and get the result and stuff. And listen, I said all the time, it's going to be a roller coaster with Spurs. We're going to get some poor results. We're going to get some great results. It's going to be like that all season. It might go on for even next season as well. But it'll be more stable once we've got more and more players in there. Listen, Man City second half weren't great, and you get an opportunity and you take them. I think it's very, very easy to sort of pick on that as a thing, as a sort of testimony. I think this is more Spurs being better than much better than the people kind of gave us a lot of credit.
What about Chelsea? What about Liverpool? What about Arsenal?
Liverpool's I'll be honest, Liverpool's a very, very similar thing to Tottenham. Game was a draw, both were draws.
That's my point. Is it Man City not being, because Man City drew to you at home, where it wasn't luck. It was, you literally completely controlled the second half. Liverpool.
We were the better team. Yeah, we were the better team second half.
Liverpool weren't the better team on the game, but they limited Manchester City's chances, especially after a little bit of time, and they created their own chances. If Darwin
And in
Núñez
the
has
second
a
half,
shooting
we
goal,
actually done better as well. In the
yes,
second half, we
you
done better
pinned them
than the
back
first.
again. And Arsenal, they were very calculated against Man City, and they won with a deflected goal, but it was fair and square. It wasn't like Man City. Man City missed the chance in the first 2 minutes from a set piece, but that was it. That was it. And then Arsenal were able to press them. I'm an advocate of a stronger league, not an advocate of, to be honest, this is my notion in this year. Until Man City prove to me that Kevin De Bruyne is going to come from a back-to-back hamstring injury where he had surgery at 32 years old. John Stones, who only played 20-something games last year, 23 if I'm not mistaken, I'm going to say Pep Guardiola is struggling to find the right combination, especially against teams that take it to him, teams that don't just sit back and give him the ball. And even against teams that sit back, look against Leipzig, against Wolves. It's all right. Against Wolves. And I'm saying that Pep Guardiola is a little bit struggling to find the right combination at this point. No team wants to lose points in 5 games out of 14 games. People tell me, yeah, but we're going to click in the second half. I get it. Liverpool, by the way, second half of last season, the last 9 games, I think they won 7 and drew 1.
Yeah.
So who says that Liverpool wouldn't click in March and win 12 games in a row as well?
Exactly.
And they did it before. Why are we completely ruling this out? Why are we ruling out that Arsenal can do the same?
It's true. I think look, I think people are looking at history and looking at City, and they trust City, isn't it? If you were a betting man,
well, yes.
Exactly. People trust City, so that's why it is. But I look at City, and I think I was discussing actually yesterday when we were talking about, Liverpool's potential title chances, and a lot of people are saying, Liverpool are right up there, and this is a title race, and it's going to be closer than it ever has been. The question we posed was, is it Liverpool and Arsenal becoming that much better, or catching City up, or have City and Arsenal dropped down the level and made it more attainable for a Chelsea to go and get the draw and score 3 or 4 against City, or for Liverpool to, after the season they had last season, to go and just make wholesale changes in the midfield, not even give them time to bed in and establish themselves as a unit. Klopp still doesn't know his best 3 in midfield at this current moment in time. People still say we're missing a DM, yet we're still able to go and compete with the City. I don't think City have signed well. When you're looking at the summer, I don't think they've made the right signings. I think losing Gundogan and bringing in the likes of, obviously, Matheus Nunes, doesn't trust him, doesn't play him in games. Calvin Phillips obviously brought him in the season before, not really showing his abilities, and Pep not trusting him. He's now looking to Alvarez and trying to play this more direct style of football that, of course, suits Haaland, if anything, because Haaland's very, very direct. If you look at his expected goals, he should have scored way, way more. I think his XG is at 28 and he scored 14. So, or 26 and he scored 14. So he should have had 26 goals by now, according to the XG. Pep doesn't trust his midfield. And as you said, Mo, I agree. He's waiting for De Bruyne to come back. He doesn't trust Foden in that position, I don't think, because I think he would have played in there more often. And as a result, I don't think they're controlling games as well as they can. Now, of course, you never know with City. And as I said, you've got to trust City, because they're the only team that consistently for 3, 4, 5 seasons now can go on 10, 20 game runs where they just don't lose games. And ultimately, that will be the difference.
Mm-hmm.
But in a season where you're waiting for De Bruyne and you don't have Gundogan to go and help you, or you're
halfway through the season already, like almost.
Exactly, we're 15 games in now, exactly, and he's still not.
Every year though, we know this. Like I feel like we have these conversations at this sort of time every year where we go, "Oh, Man City aren't very good," blah blah, and then they go and just wash everyone out of it, and they're not just beating teams, they're battering teams.
Here is the difference, Perchi. Liverpool always kept up with them, and remember, if there are a couple of decisions that went Liverpool's way, we would not have been sitting here saying Pep has won this amount. We would have said Klopp won 2 of the last 4. We would have said my point is Liverpool are keeping up now. So there is another team that can do it and did it. Liverpool, I think, one season went on a 17-game unbeaten run. They won 15 out of these 17. There is a season that Liverpool lost 1 game. So that means Jurgen Klopp has done it before as well. The fact that he lost the league by 1 point doesn't tell me that City are better than them. By the way, when you lose the league by 1 point, yes, on the table, but because of this freaking league, there are very small margins. This is not a cup competition. This is very small margin. A call here, a handball there, a penalty that was not called, a red card that was not given. I would say if you lose by 1 point, you're toe-to-toe. It's equal. It's completely equal for me. It's just the luck wins somebody else, and maybe someone else is more resilient.
You could argue decisions go either way. I believe in the.
I get what you're saying. I believe
in the theories. Decisions balance out throughout a season. Let's be fair.
I don't believe that, but yeah, fine.
And relatively. I mean, there is no way unless
I have a team in Serie A that used to give referees money, so it doesn't work like this.
Oh, don't. Oh, here we go. But yeah, no. But in context, in the sense of it, most decisions. If we say, oh well, these certain things go against. If buts and maybes, if Erling Haaland scored his chances, Spurs are out of sight yesterday, and we're talking about Spurs getting battered. So it goes if buts and maybes. So like, listen, it didn't happen. Spurs got a good result, by the way. Spurs got a really, really good result at the Etihad. For me, though, what I always say, it's great now. Enjoy it, blah, blah, blah. Good result. It means nothing if we lose to West Ham on Thursday. It means diddly squat if we lose to Man City, West Ham, because that for me is the key one. We have to go and beat West Ham because now the expectation of Spurs fans is brilliant, right? We lose a game and it's doom and gloom. We win a game and we're winning the league. It's absolutely brilliant. I'm hearing people saying we're back in the title race. Really? Do people think that? I don't know. Not for me. I'd be amazed if we did. But listen, I think we're doing well. I think we'll finish there or thereabouts this season. I stand by my theory between fourth and eighth. I said anywhere in that gap. I think we're not good enough at the moment to compete with the likes of Man City, Liverpool, and Arsenal on a whole season basis. I think we'll be in the mix of teams of Chelsea, Man United, maybe if they change the manager, Newcastle, Aston Villa. There's quite a handful of teams in that little battle that want to get into what I would say the last place in the Champions League. I mean, I know there's potentially fifth, but I mean, I'm not getting into that because I haven't.
Actually, based on best day this season, though, eighth. Like eighth is low. Like,
no, but in context, right? I call it in context. I don't think we're going to finish at eighth. I think we'll finish fifth or sixth. I'll say. I think we're going to finish fourth, fifth, or sixth. Realistically, I'm just saying, like, anything can happen, right? You've got to judge your ideas on where we go. Imagine if Vicario gets injured for the season. Heung-min Son gets injured for the season. Listen, I've been it.
But Perchy, what you just said, you just spoke about the ifs. Mo saying if this happens, that happens. You can't speak about ifs. All things considered.
Go on if you get injuries, right? Of course, everyone gets injuries every season.
But think about you've got injuries so far this season, and yes, you've gone on obviously on a poor run, but you just got a really, really decent result against City. Yeah, you go and win against West Ham now with these same injuries. For me, I'm looking at this period and saying, look, it's Andrew's first season. Of course, there's going to be some lows in the season, but there's no way you've been the sixth best team in the league. I can't see 5 other teams that are better than you. Like,
listen,
currently.
That's me. Leveling out my optimism, right?
Yeah, of course. You don't want to get too excited.
I don't get. I'm one of those. I try not to get too excited. Listen. What did I say at the start of the season? I said at the start of this season, I said I don't care where we finish, and I stand by it. I've always stood by this. This is for me. This season is a free pass for the manager. As I always caveat, as long as we don't get relegated, we're not going to get relegated. But for me, this season, under this manager, it doesn't matter where we finish. For me, it's all about season 2, season 3. Because we've still, when you've got the likes, listen, I know he had a good game. I thought he had a good game yesterday. But even though we've got the likes of Lo Celso still in the team, Emerson Royale's an awful defender. Ben Davies has been here way too long. Do you know what I mean? We've got a collection of football players still at this football club that have been under 3 or 4 managers before. So we need to flush a lot of these out. Eric Dyer is still on the books at Tottenham. Tongi and Ndombele still on the books at Tottenham. It looks like he's coming back in January because yet another manager doesn't rate this football player. I keep telling people this. And in the context of it all, for me, once I start seeing a change with the gutting of these players out and Ange getting in the players that he wants, then I'll start getting a bit more loud or whatever you want to call it about where we're going to finish. For me, this manager gets a free chance for me at the moment because until he's got his squad, not 11 squad, then I'll start going, okay, now I expect us to be finishing in the Champions League. Now I expect us to be going far in the FA Cups. Now I expect us to be winning stuff. Right now, I can't say that. This guy's been here, 5 months?
All right. Like for me, I'm with Jerry. If you are playing like this with this guy, I believe you can actually finish top 4 comfortably. But
I think so. I think top 4 is doable.
Not comfortably, because I still think Newcastle, Aston Villa are going to be there and thereabout. And I think they're going to battle you. I think Newcastle, once this Champions League campaign is over, I think they're going to be a very, very good force, in my opinion. My man, Craig Lee, keeps sending me comments and keeps sending me stats about Newcastle. And they have been one of the best teams in the league, in my opinion. But I want to switch it a little bit to Liverpool. Look at Liverpool and Arsenal. I'm going to start with Liverpool. Trent Alexander-Arnold played very, very good game. Liverpool conceding 3 at home. Mohamed Salah wasn't in the game. Darwin Núñez is absolutely abysmal in this game. Again, he wasn't. He was absolutely abysmal in the game.
I mean,
Trent saving Liverpool. Go ahead, Percy.
Just gonna say, just his haircut was abysmal, by the way.
By itself, it's a sackable offense.
What was that about?
It's a sackable offense, to be honest. Like for me, that was.
He had a sleepover with I don't know, some Uruguayan chick or his girl or whatever. And
his niece or something like that. It started plaiting his hair. What's that about?
It was absolutely abysmal. Matip now is injured long term. Alisson now is is missing for the next 2 games.
Yeah.
What are Liverpool targets again? For me, I still think this team, with the starting 11, can win the league. Are they better than Man City? I actually think, if I'm looking at them now, I think they are there and thereabout. Like looking at the starting 11. Let me explain to you why. I'm going to count this Man City until I see them play with Kevin De Bruyne and John Stones. And I see consistency some players, right? And I see them actually composed, because a lot of Man City people now are asking, and I don't want to switch it back to Man City, are asking Alvarez to be dropped, Foden in the middle. Are we saying that Pep will do that? Pep will play Foden in the middle. The guy is so stubborn. He might not. He might keep playing this Alvarez thing until it works. He might not do that. He's never going to play Calvin Phillips again. We know that. He keeps playing Akanji. We're waiting for. He keeps playing Kyle Walker. When Man City fans now are telling me drop him. Jurgen Klopp now, he showed more flexibility. He's moving. Last game, he completely took out McAllister and Gravenberch. He took McAllister and Sabota and played Trent in the center and put Pep Gomez on the right side. Yeah. So he is more lenient than the Klopp that we have experienced over the past 5 years. So I'm like looking at him as like, well, yeah, you get a DM now in January or not, and you're winning games. You're winning games, and it's not, yes, you have been absolutely abysmal defensively this last game, but you still scored 4 goals, and you could have had 5 or 6 if this guy Darwin Núñez, if Cody Gakpo was there from the beginning of the game, you could have had 5 or 6. You could have been out of sight completely.
Yeah, it's a weird one. It's a weird one with Liverpool, because if you spoke to a lot of, when you look at it on paper, Liverpool are doing really, really well. We've only lost 1 game, and that obviously being very dubious. That was obviously the Spurs game. That VAR decision was shocking. So you've been very, very consistent in the league, and this wasn't. I don't want to speak for any Liverpool fans, but for myself, it was very unexpected for Liverpool to be in this position. I didn't expect the gelling for the team to be as cohesive, especially going forward, as we have been. However, defensively, we still have a lot of problems, and I think we've over relied on Alisson a lot. I think this game proved it, because if you look at a lot of our games that we play, we do concede 1, 2, 3 big chances in every single game where any team could go in and do you know what I mean, are through. But Alisson bails us out, or it's a last ditch Van Dijk, do you know what I mean, kick out for a goal kick. Now we don't have Alisson in goal. Fulham, a team that had conceded 26 goals before going into that game. Liverpool had scored 28 goals up to that point. So we've scored more. We've scored and kind of conceded the same amount of goals, which is crazy. Yet Fulham all of a sudden turned into, do you know what I mean, this free flowing, free scoring team that, you know, didn't have nowhere near as many chances as Liverpool, but were very clinical with their chances. And this is kind of a theme when it comes to Liverpool anyway. So when you talk about where can Liverpool finish, and we try to, I mean, kind of assess the level at which Liverpool are. Liverpool can win the league.
You're so scared, Jay. You're so scared. You're so scared.
No, I'm not scared. No, it's not me. It's not me scared. It's not me scared because ultimately it doesn't. Like whether Liverpool, if we win the league, great. But I am
feeling you're so scared to say what actually you think because you're cautious. Let me just say you're cautious.
No, but no, it's not about. But this is the point. I don't think it's because we're cautious. I think what it is because I know that this team, this Liverpool team, is miles off the Liverpool team that had finished second by a point twice.
Yeah,
that nearly went for a quad. It's miles off that. As in, we can see it, we feel it. We're in the stand in the terraces. We know they're not up to level. We're looking at the front three. It's not the same as when we had Mane, Bobby, Salah. The midfield, yes, we might have better ball players, but as a unit, they don't work as well. Van Dijk isn't the same Van Dijk as he was before. Do you know what I mean? As a defensive unit, we don't operate the same way. So when I compare it to that team, and we only won one Premier League, where we should have probably won more, but we only won one, and we were going toe to toe with City. I can't look at this team with any confidence and say, I believe this team could go in win the league. Because for me, they haven't proved anything yet to go and show we can go on a sustained run like that team did. So when I'm looking at this Liverpool team, yes, they're getting the business done, but this is a team that has a lot of holes in it. Yet somehow we're still able to go and get results, which is all fair and well. But that performance against Fulham was abysmal. But Nunes missing chances. That's expected. Nunes misses chances. That's the type of player he is. He's not that guy. He's a striker that's going to miss chances. Cool. Our defense, we're leaky. We have been leaky since last season. We are leaky this season. If you had to go and ask anyone, any fan, any rival fan, they'll tell us you can get at Liverpool because the defense is leaky. Is it the best midfield in the world? Of course not. We haven't got a DM. Defensively, we're not sound. And sometimes in possession, we can be poor. And I think against Fulham, we were poor. So when I look at this team, I don't look at a team that's very strong in all facets to say, yeah, this team can go and win the league. And as a unit, this team haven't gone and achieved anything yet. So I don't have any trust in this team. Whereas when I look at City, this is why I go back to it. City are a team that have done it multiple years, year in, year out. That have, even though they've gone on a run now where they've drawn and they've dropped a lot of points, they still haven't lost. Like, bear in mind, they still haven't lost, and they got players that are injured. And again, you just spoke about Mo as well. If you were betting, man, you'd bet on City to go and win at the end of the season. So I don't look at Liverpool as this well-run, oiled machine.
I'm not as. Let me just put this out there, okay? Let me just. I am not as confident as 5 weeks ago about this Man City. Like, if you would ask me, okay, so hear me out. If you give me $100 and you go to Vegas, bet this. And I'm gonna. I always say that because people, when they bet, they're like, they actually do what they believe. If I'm asking you to pick, I would have put the $90 or $90 on Man City. I'll put 60 now on him. I'll put 60 only. And there are reasons for me to say that. I just don't put statements out like this because I believe that they lack experience on that squad. They lack, for some reason, there is no cohesion yet. Am I trusting Pep to get it right? Yes. But because I actually don't gamble. For the people that ask in the chat, I never gambled. I never gambled.
That's why I keep saying if. I'm saying if you were. That's why I know you're
I never gambled in my life. So
good. Anyway, you're a better man than me.
No, I never gambled. It's me being a Muslim.
Yeah,
I actually think that gambling is kind of an addiction, so I try to avoid it.
Yeah, no, I don't blame you.
So the likes of Gavardiol, Doku, right? Alvarez, who played last year, but only he wasn't a starter. By the way, the pressure when you start every game for Man City is different. When you're coming off the bench and you have Kevin De Bruyne helping you, Gundogan helping you, Riyad Mahrez, you know what I mean? Like the pressure on Alvarez now is different. Gavardiol as well now is starting every game. Is he a good talent? Yes. But Nathan Ake took him years to be the player that he was last year, by the way. Took him years when they got him from Bournemouth. Doku, very, very good on the ball. But when push comes to shove and when pressure, like the game against Spurs, Doku kind of a little bit showed immaturity, which is expected from a 21 years old. You're not bringing a player that played 6-7 years in top divisions. He didn't. He's a brilliant talent that needs development. And even so, I'm watching Haaland in some games. Haaland phases out now in some games. Completely phased out in some games. Misses chances now regularly. It's not like last year. And Diaz now has been leaky. Diaz has been terrible. They conceded 9 goals in the last 4 games, people. No, sorry, 10 goals. 3 goals between Liverpool and Leipzig, 4 goals against Chelsea, and 3 goals from Spurs. Man City, if I told you this in the beginning of the season, that Man City within 4 games will concede 10 goals, you'll call me crazy. We were talking about Man City going on a run to break the Chelsea's record of 2004-2005. 10 goals. So I'm not as confident as before. Huh?
Like in the sense of it, like everyone's conceding a lot of goals, barring you could argue barring the likes of Liverpool, Arsenal, Newcastle. Could even throw Man United and Man City have conceded 16 goals. I mean, when we talk about it, I mean, let's be fair with it. Yeah, they've in the last 2 they've conceded a chunk.
But Birchie, they conceded a lot less. Okay, so here's the phases of the season. Man City conceded not a lot of goals in the beginning of the season. 10 of these, or 8 of these 6 came just in the last 3 games. Half the goals came in 3 games out of 14. So that showed a dip.
Yeah, I get that, but also it is very Man City to go and do that and then go and get 10 clean sheets in a row. I mean, so we have to be fair with that. That's the sort of thing Man City do. And I think the Leipzig one's a little bit. They'd already qualified, hadn't they? So I can kind of understand that. But
they wanted nobody. Okay, go ahead.
I think you could argue that they played a bit of a weaker turn. They weren't really playing because in the sense they'd already qualified. But I just want to turn it back to Liverpool for a second because I kind of get what JJ's saying. I kind of agree. I think for me at the moment with Liverpool, I think it all depends in January. Liverpool fans are very sensible in the sense of just calm for a second. We're not talking about winning titles. We'll get there. But I think if Liverpool go and buy a Douglas Luiz, I'm just spitballing. Ignore me. I'm just picking Douglas Luiz and a Mark Guehi or someone or a Joachim Anderson to shore up that defensive stuff, getting a bit of better quality in depth. Then you could get a little bit more excited. I think Liverpool, if they don't invest in January, I don't see them beating Man City or Arsenal in the sort of title race. I always will say that Liverpool are going to finish second this season. I think Liverpool will finish second, but I think Man City will. I'll stand by my theory on it. I think Liverpool will be the best theory.
I am not saying that Man City aren't still the best team in the league because the 2 players that are coming back are very strong and they have the best manager. But I'm saying it's not as clear cut as and my conclusions change when circumstances change. Imagine Man City going. Let me ask anybody something here, and I want everybody in the chat, people. I want everybody that is. We almost have 250 people here, so I want everybody to be honest. Man City going to Aston Villa without Rodri. All right. Nunes is still injured or something. Doku is injured. Grealish is suspended. All right.
Yeah.
All right. And they are playing against the best team in the league, if I'm not mistaken, at home. The best team in the league at home.
Yeah.
They won every single game at home. Are Man City favorites? Be honest with yourself. And I want everybody in the chat. You can tell me one thing. It's a yes or no question. Are Man City favorites against Villa with all the absentees that they have in this coming game tomorrow? And I want you guys to tell me, what if Man City lose the game?
I mean, look, I'm going to ask the first question. I think they're still favorites. I like. I look at Aston Villa and I'm like, okay, they're decent, they're good. But what I think, was it with you? I forgot who it was with, but I think I actually made a prediction on someone's show where I said I think Aston Villa are going to drop points, and I predicted they lose. Now Ollie Watkins came, do you know what I mean, with the goal, and they won the game 2-2. But I like Emery. I think they're doing a decent job.
Yeah.
But I think at times they can still be got at. I don't think that. I think they're on a good run of form, but I don't trust Aston Villa in the same way that I trust City. Again, as I'm saying now, if City go and lose, then we're having a different conversation now. So
of course, yeah.
As you said, Mo. So if City lose, now we're looking at it thinking, oh, you've on the back of what, 4 draws, you've now gone and
15
lost.
games, you'll drop point in 6 games. That never happened. No, that happened one season when they had 26 points at this type.
Exactly. So I'd go and look at that and be like, boy, then we can start having a discussion about what's going on wrong with that City. But let me flip it on you, Mo. What if they go and batter Aston Villa without all those players?
Yeah.
What if they go and win 3-0 away from home at Villa Park?
Let me tell you, I don't see the future. I only analyze what I see from the last games, and I think I predict what's coming. My predictions might be wrong. Like I predicted Ange to do something, completely did something else, and he completely proved me wrong. It's more likely than not that they won't batter Aston Villa. If they batter Aston Villa, in my opinion, with this team, okay, it would have been from Aston Villa's fault, not from City's brilliance. Because I don't see City having the players to batter. Like, who's going to play left wing? Who's going to play a DM? If Aston Villa
have to be Foden, Bernardo Silva out wide, then they're going to have to introduce.
And then who's in the middle?
Huh? It'll have to be Nunes and Rico Lewis. I don't know who else they play there, isn't it?
But like, that's my point.
Nunes
is more likely. Like, what if? All I'm going to tell you is that what if Man United win at Anfield? You'll tell me, well, will your conversation change for Man United? The question you're asking, Jerry, is realistic, but it's more likely than not, it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. If it happens, I think that will be testament to how Villa probably set up completely wrong. Something completely wrong happened in the game. Because who's going to create the chances? And who's going to hold the midfield? Again, is Douglas Luiz, Kamara, John McGinn. There's no one. John Stones come back. He might be a defensive.
We spoke about Foden before. I don't want to get into the Foden talk again. Maybe this is where Foden plays in do you know what I mean? Shows that he's that guy. Like we were talking about. Mo.
He might be, but who's going to play right wing? The problem is, you're coming into the game with you actually don't have wingers, so he has to play a winger at this time.
Yeah, I mean, plays Alvarez there. I don't know.
But listen, I think we're very quick with it. We know what Guardiola does. We know what Man City do, right? We know what happens, right? We have these conversations, then tomorrow we then come in and see, oh wait, they've just got absolutely humbled, right? That like those sort of things just happen, right? And then, but you're right. Listen, look, I'll be fair with it. This Aston Villa team are a very, very good side. Unai Emery's a very, very good manager. With what I would say is a stronger 11 to Man City. I'm not saying that they've got a better team than Man City. I'm saying they've got more first team players fit than Man City will have available tomorrow. So I still think Man City will get a result. Win or draw. If I was putting money on it, Man City to win. Man City would always go in on it to win. But listen, I think it's I think it's going to be a good game, by the way. That tomorrow, that's the game tomorrow, right? That's the game tomorrow to watch.
Not Chelsea, Man United.
Nah, Villa Man City, I think is bigger.
I think for me too, Villa Man City.
I think that's too.
It's definitely not Man United versus Chelsea for me, to be honest.
Well, yeah,
it's literally.
They've got loads of injuries, by the way. They're still out with loads of players.
Guys,
is now out.
There is 250 people here. Hit that like button, of course. And if you are on Jerry's channel, please hit that like button for us. Please hit that like button. Subscribe to the channel if you're new. The like button is the only way we help this channel grow and get more people joining us and watching us. It's a brilliant show with Perchi and Jerry James. This is consistent now. Tomorrow we'll have Will and Conley. It'll be spicy. Tonight, after the game, 1 hour after the game, or 45 minutes after the Arsenal-Luton, we'll talk about Arsenal being top of the league with how many points I actually don't know. They're going to be 5 points ahead of everybody coming tomorrow when
You think
everybody
they're winning
plays.
that game, Mo? Yeah, you don't anticipate any.
No, I actually think Luton can give them tough time.
Yeah, I agree.
But I actually think at the end, Arsenal will win with a 2-goal margin. And let's talk about Arsenal now for the last 5-10 minutes. All right. Top of the league. I think this is the most convincing Arsenal I saw. The same for Newcastle. This is the most flattering 1-0 I've seen in my life, probably. Newcastle versus Man United. This is the 2-1 that I've watched, and I'm like, how are you 2-1? The forwards weren't actually. Who's managing Football Heritage TV clips?
That's me.
All right.
That's me. And that's
Don't forget about the chat.
That's my missus in there trying it. She knows how it gets. She loves Will for some reason, so she'll be watching tomorrow.
Will Conley is gonna be very spicy tomorrow at 1 p.m. UK time. It's gonna be kind of because Sava's not here, so Will is replacing Sava for that show.
Yeah.
But Arsenal Football Club, I'm gonna say it again. We are discrediting Arsenal because they aren't playing well. However, Arsenal at the end scored 29 goals, which is low for the majority of the top 8. Tottenham scored less than them, but they only conceded 11 goals. And if they continue with that rate, they are close to win the league. I don't know why people are saying they're going to fall off. Unless a major injury happened to them, I don't see why we're discrediting them. Are they as good as Man City? Maybe not. But are they now closer to Man City than last year because Man City dropped off? Yes, I think so. I actually think so. I think they are in the conversation with Liverpool and Man City. The table don't lie. And also, they have been very consistent this year. If you watch their games, they're not. They battered some teams and they won slow at some teams, but they still control the games. That's my opinion.
No, I agree. I've always said it though. There's three teams in anyone wants to call it a title race or whatever. It is Man City, Arsenal, Liverpool. I think them three will be there.
And we call it there are 3 teams with a chance of winning the league, and everybody else don't have a chance.
Yeah, I think that's fair.
Title race, because we have to. If we don't say title race,
maybe you want to call it because you could argue. Let's be fair. If Villa beat Man City, I think they would go above them, right?
Yes.
Or they'll be matching on points, or whatever. So I mean, I'll be fair with it. I still think there's 3 teams.
No. They will go above them with 2 points.
Are they only a point behind them? I don't think so. Okay. Well, there you go. But my point being is on this. I think there's 3 teams that can win, that can justifiably win the league. Anyone else? Let's be fair. If it isn't one of those 3 teams, I think we would all call it a shock if someone else won it. I think that's fair, right?
Yes.
If anyone barring Man City, Liverpool, or Arsenal winning the league, it's a bit of a shock. I always will stay by it that my season ends in Man City, Liverpool, Arsenal. But look, right now Arsenal are doing well. But wait, I think it's just going to be the one thing with Arsenal. When it goes well, I've always said this under an Arteta team, by the way. I say this all the time. When it goes well for them. When it goes well, they're great. It's when something goes wrong, how do they react? And I'm not on about just like a loss here and there and all that lot. Because last season we saw them fall apart. If they don't do that this year, we can't predict the future, then of course they can win the league. But we saw it last season. We saw it the season before that. When it matters, Arsenal haven't got what it takes to win those games. And I'm not talking about the big games, the Man Cities here and there. I'm talking about it when it matters, going to Anfield, getting a result, going to West Ham, getting a result, and Southampton. Those games last season killed their title run. And Man City went boom, 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 done. I say it all the time.
So what does it take, Pritchie? What does it take?
Has the mentality at Arsenal changed? It could have done. We will not know. We'll find out at the end of the season. Can Arsenal go on a run and win 8 or 9 games in a row, 10 games in a row? Can they? They can. They're a very, very good side. I hate saying it, but they're a very, very good side. But will they? That's the question. Will they? Because it's all well and good saying now. They're now in the Champions League now. so they could progress far further in that. Do they prioritize one or the other? I don't know. As I said, I'm just spitballing here, but I'm just listen. We'll not know. Have Arsenal learned from their lessons from the past? As I said, when they didn't when they didn't get into the Champions League, and they fell apart at our place, Newcastle, and it fell apart, and they finished 5th last season. When it mattered, they didn't win the games they needed to win the title. So listen, that's the question. Has the mentality at Arsenal changed? We will only find out. It's all well and good them winning games now, but when it matters with 10 or 15 games to go, when they have to win because they've got the likes of Liverpool or Man City chasing them, that's when it matters, right?
Yeah, I think looking Arsenal's an interesting one, because this will be a different type of Arsenal if they were to go the whole distance playing the way they are.
Yeah.
It will be a very, very mature performance from Arsenal. I haven't gone and seen it before. Arsenal's always been known to play, expansive football for the last, 2 decades or so. Real nice football at their best, scintillating football. But they haven't, as Perch said, they haven't got over the line now. Look, they're doing the business at the moment. They're doing the business. Again, they're another team that I look at, and you speak to a lot of Arsenal fans, and they tell you that there's holes in their team. They're not happy with their midfield situation. Of course, they've got injuries. Obviously, Timber's out, and they've got injuries in defence. They're begging for a number 9. They're begging for a number 9. They're not confident with Gabriel Jesus nor Eddie Nketiah. Now, an Arsenal team that has a lot of holes. They're in a very similar situation for me with Liverpool. They haven't done it yet. I don't trust Arsenal to go and do it. They've had one season where they were fantastic. Can they do it again, playing a different way and more conservative? If they can do it, props to the team. They've got to that next level, that next. That mentality of it's winning by any cost. But again, do we see Arsenal making changes in the summer?
They're going to have to,
do
right?
We see Arsenal signing the striker? I don't know.
I think they have to. I think if look, this is the question: is how ambitious their owners are. And listen, I don't care. I'm a Spurs fan, so I don't care what they do. Like, I don't want them to buy players. I want them to go wrong, and it all go horribly wrong. But as a neutral in this conversation, Arsenal have to go and buy 2 big players at least. They need to bring in a midfielder that can sit next to a Declan Rice. I think someone like a Douglas Luiz, I'm a big fan of his. I mentioned him earlier. And an Ivan Toney. Go and spend good money and get these boys in. Or be even more ambitious and try and convince the likes of an Osimhen to Arsenal. I'm not saying they get these players. These are just players that I'm talking about now. But be ambitious. They need to, if Arsenal want to win the league, they have to be ambitious in January. And I think that's key. And when I hear all this nonsense, you can't buy players in January. No, you can if you spend the money. If you want to be ambitious, you can get players in January if you spend the right sort of money.
Can I ask you guys something?
Player has a price.
Can I ask you guys something?
Arsenal
and Manchester City both play Luton away and Aston Villa away in the next 2 games, if I'm not mistaken. Right?
Well, they alternate.
So Luton away and Aston Villa away the next 2 games. Arsenal play the same games. This Man City team going to Aston Villa tomorrow with the injuries, and Arsenal going, and I'm going to ask the same question I asked before, and Arsenal going to Aston Villa away with all their players fit now, the squad that they have now, who's more favorites to get a result at Aston Villa?
Arsenal. I think Arsenal. If I was to bet.
Man City with this Man City going tomorrow with the injuries and the suspensions we have, and Arsenal going next week, and if nobody gets injured and nobody is in danger of getting suspended against Luton to get suspended against Aston Villa, who's more favorites to get points at Villa Park? Jerry said Arsenal.
I would probably say Arsenal on this for the players at the moment right now. We can't right this moment, but listen, that doesn't discredit Man City. I think both.
It doesn't. People just think because I've got this thing that people say I'm talking from an agenda. Man City, and I'm like, I'm really trying to analyze the situation as it is now. I will reanalyze the situation once I see the team with the De Bruynes and the Stones and in Marsh, because last season Pep Guardiola completely changed to this box midfield, Kevin De Bruyne and Alvarez and Gundogan behind the forward. Bernardo Silva started playing right more regularly. I'm thinking that this Arsenal team now, if they win the game, the coming 2 games, they still have Brighton and Liverpool. I think they prove that they are consistent. I
Yeah.
think they prove that they're consistent. Now it's on the other teams, and this is the statement that I'm going to put out there. It's on the other teams to keep up, not
Yep.
the other way around. It's on Liverpool and Man City to keep up with Arsenal, because Arsenal are winning games now. We like it or we don't like it. People like it, people don't like it. I really don't care. I'm a neutral here. I think people need to keep up with Arsenal. And if Arsenal strengthen in January, as you said, Pucci, they're even more dangerous
Of course.
than now.
Yeah, of course.
But I'm sitting on every show and people want to discredit them. I'm not talking about you guys, but it's every show now. People mock Arsenal as it's just fun to say that they're not good enough.
But
Yes, they dropped the ball last year. Go ahead.
But this is going to be the case though. I remember when Liverpool were going and challenging, it was the same thing. Liverpool, they haven't done it. They're not going to do it. They need to do it before anyone's going to go and give them any credit. Like,
but they won't do it until they do it, Jerry.
But that's my point. So they have to. They have to accept, from a fan's perspective, you have to just accept the banter. Cool. When you win it, you shut all of us up.
Yeah,
like, you just shut all of us up.
I agree.
I mean, that's what football is, isn't it? Like, they're not. On what basis? On what basis are they right? We're not obviously like 5-10 games to go where there's a massive gap. On what basis can you sit and be like, yes, Arsenal are the favourites? There's no history to suggest that they will be.
I'm not saying they are favourites.
But that's my point. But that's my point. So look, Arsenal are good.
Yeah.
And until they do it, there won't be this general consensus where everyone's looking at Arsenal saying they're the real deal. Forget winning the Premier League. Let's say Saka and the likes go and take them to winning the Champions League. The narrative around Arsenal is going to change.
Champions League.
Of course.
Yeah, but of course the narrative.
It's just saying, if they go and get to a final of the Champions League and win a Champions League final, the narrative of Arsenal changes very quickly. I wanted just to sort of make a point here.
Yes.
This is exactly this. What you're saying, I get your point, Mo. But we remember when Leicester won the title, when Leicester won the Premier League, even with 5 games to go, everyone was saying, "Nah, they're not going to win it."
I didn't believe it. Yeah.
No. Do you know? I'm not saying. I'm just saying collectively, loads of people go, "Nah, they won't win it. They'll fall away. They'll fall away." The moment they crumble will happen, and everyone, and you could. I know Leicester fans are going, "Well, no one gave us any credit throughout that season. They all thought we'd fall apart." Similar sort of case here with Arsenal, in the sense that people go, "Oh no, they won't win it. They won't win it." Blah blah blah, but they have to go and win it. And exactly what Jerry's saying, they have to go and win it and shut people up. Stop. What I would say to Arsenal fans here is stop worrying what other people think. If you guys think you're going to win the league, cool. Don't worry about what other people think. But you have to go and win it, because what a lot of Arsenal fans double down now. And I'm not saying everyone, I'm just saying a collective. We are going to win the league. Based on what? That's always the argument. Based on what? Based on the last recent history of falling apart and capitulating. That's the difference, right? That's the difference.
Yeah.
But can they do it? Yeah, of course they can. They're top of the league, so why not? Why not? So I think it's just
because he left his stubbornness, guys. Like Pep Guardiola left, like he kind of abandoned the stubbornness. Havertz scored. He didn't start him. He's like, no, you are sitting on the bench.
Mo, I hear that. Okay, but if they didn't win it, then if Arsenal didn't win it, would you be surprised? Would you sit and be like,
didn't win what?
I can't believe Arsenal haven't. Or let's say they end
didn't win what? Didn't win what?
No, if they don't win the league.
Oh no, I wouldn't be surprised.
But that's my point.
Yeah.
So if you're
but
not
here's the difference between me and you. I wouldn't be surprised if Man City don't win the league, and I wouldn't be surprised if Liverpool didn't be surprised.
You would do. But the reason why you would do is that we just asked you if you were a betting man, which you're not. We're gonna caveat that.
No, but I said the percentage is different now for me. Circumstances change. Listen, when circumstances change, I analyze the situation as of now. If it's raining today, I'm gonna analyze it different than the weather yesterday, right? Man City now, until they turn this, guys, Man City drew 3 games in a row. All right, like Man City already lost 2 games this year. Pep
what I would say,
Guardiola
though,
is trying to find the right midfielder. Pep Guardiola last game, he wanted a goal. He took out Phil Foden to add more balance in the midfield.
No,
This is how
I
bad
hear
it
that.
is now.
But I know we talk about, and obviously football's a game of games, right? And what I mean by that is, obviously you just said City have drawn 3 on the bounce, right? If they win 3 on the bounce now, again the narrative changes again. Like,
but I don't see
Arsenal
that
draw 3
happening.
on the bounce,
It
then we're
depends.
talking about Arsenal a different way.
Jerry, I don't see them even winning at Aston Villa tomorrow. If they do it, they do it. I don't see it.
If they do it, they do it.
Yeah, but my point is,
man.
I am not sitting here and analyzing a game and tell me I would give Aston Villa a 60-40 in this game to win the game. I'm being serious.
Really?
I am dead
Oh,
serious,
man.
people.
We do this every time.
No.
man.
For this game, with the injuries that Man City have, guys, are you serious? Okay, let me give you a stat. Let me give you a simple stat, right? Man City haven't won a game this year out of the 18 games they played without Rodri. 3 games they lost them. Rodri isn't playing tomorrow.
Yeah.
So betting people, analyzing people will tell me Aston Villa won every game at home, right? Man City haven't won a game without Rodri. Man City don't have Kevin De Bruyne. Man City don't have a left winger tomorrow. Every single thing goes towards an Aston Villa win. And you're telling me I'm biased.
Can I just put
absolutely analyzing the situation with all the givens. I'm a math man. I'm a scientist.
No, I get that. But can I just put a little bit of context to the match?
Yes.
Aston Villa winning everything at home. Everton, I expect them to beat them. Palace, I expect them to beat them. Brighton, they battered them. Fair play to them. Absolutely battered them. West Ham, I expect Villa to be beating West Ham at home. Luton, I expect them to be beating them at home. Fulham, I expect them to beat them at home. So, like, when we say they haven't gone out there and beat, like, do you know what I mean? If they'd gone and beaten Arsenal at home, Liverpool at home, beaten the likes of Man United's, Tottenham's at home. Yes, they beat us away, but I'm talking about the home games, right? Then I would sit there and go, okay, fair enough. Do I think Villa are a good side, by the way? This isn't discrediting Villa, because I think Villa are an amazing football team, the way they operate under Emery. But I think we have to put it a little bit of context. They're playing Man City. So, like, let's see. Listen, you're adamant that Aston Villa are going to win at home against Man City. Is that what your position is, Mike?
No. I am actually saying I think it's a 60-40. Like, Aston Villa, I'll be surprised if they don't win this game. By the way, I'm not in football. This is not at the end. I'm not saying Aston Villa are playing Luton at home, with all due respect to Luton or Sheffield. This is still Aston Villa. Like, for example, if Man City with this squad, I'm just saying, giving an example, go to play Dortmund at home in Dortmund, Aston Villa are stronger than Dortmund. My point is, people just take my words as, when I say Aston Villa are favorites, I think Aston Villa are completely winning the game. It's a given.
Yeah, I know. I get the point.
I think Aston Villa have bigger chances of winning the game than Man City at this time because of the injuries that Man City have and because of suspensions. And I tried to go. I actually checked the odds, people. I actually have no idea how to check the odds. I don't understand what's written in front of me.
Someone's put it in the chat. I saw it a second ago. Someone
It's
did put
60-40.
It's 3 to 4 City favourites to win. 10-3 Villa winning. So odds are definitely in City's favour.
In City's favour. We'll see. I guess we'll see. But anyway,
10-3 though on a Villa win though is tasty odds if you're a betting man. If you want to follow Mo's predictions there,
let us know. Do I put a cheeky bet on? I don't bet.
Don't bet because I said no. Of course, no.
What do you mean, no?
Mo's the best.
You just spoke for 10 minutes telling us it's 60-40. You're not surprised.
Yeah.
Listen, if I put a small bet down, Mo, would you co-sign that with me? Using the math, would you say, yeah, that's the right bet to go on?
I actually think that Aston Villa are favourites to win the game.
Okay.
So at 10-3, that's not bad. That might be. Do you know what? I might put it in my ACCA just for the fun tomorrow.
Anyway, people, I
You're good
just want to tell you people something. There's about 240 of you here, or 200 and something here.
Smash those
Guys,
likes.
listen, Football Heritage TV, Jerry James Show, the Jerry James Show is in the description. I want you guys to click on the link and go give them subscription. It's simple, like the last video or 10. And also today at midday for me, at 6 p.m. Football Heritage TV will have the Rivals React show. It's an absolutely phenomenal show. You'll have to, it's a must watch every week, Tuesday at 6. And also I want to do something, set the notification bell for this channel for Footy Judge Mo, so to know when we go live tonight at 11 p.m. UK time. We'll have a reaction. I'll have Dawood, I'll have Giuseppe, I'll have Martin for you. We'll have a good one. We'll have Muhammad Salah, the anti-Arsenal person. But stay on this channel. It will take you to Hussam's channel when he's doing his preview for the league this week. Stay here. It's going to take us to football. Thank you, Jerry. Appreciate you, buddy. Thank you, Turkey. Thank you so much for being here, guys. Make sure to check them in the description. It's just one click away. Give them a subscription. It will help the channel massively because these guys are helping me. I appreciate them. They are blessing me with their appearance every week here. So thank you, guys, and we'll see you guys later. Stay on the stream. Don't go anywhere. It take you to Hussam's stream. We're out of here, people.